this episode of Parts Not Payments. We take the oil out of the engine. We put the oil in the engine. And I say, right in the old gas hole, oil change, air filter, and fuel injection cleaner on the van today. It's a 2010 Dodge Grand Caravan. This is stuff you'll need: drain pan, air filter, oil, and I like to wear these gloves. So you want to get under here with the drain pan and your 13mm. It's very common on these. You're just gonna crack this thing loose. There you go. Once it's done draining, you just put the drain plug back in. Simple as that. Remember, like I said, you don't want to over tighten it. So just right there, that's it. Choke up on your wrench if you have to. Don't over tighten. That's tight, it's not coming out. Put a little wipe down here. I like to use old shirts and stuff. That way I'm not always buying rags. And get a nice wipe down. We'll hit it with some brake clean when we're done. Then you're gonna move on to the oil filter. Let's move you up here. Like I said, that's the oil filter right there, that white thing. Here's your oil filter wrench. I make all different kinds. Some go on like a socket and you can turn them. You know, I got this kind here. As you turn it, tightens, it's gonna cinch down on it to where you can, look at that, loosen the filter. Now this is gonna make it a little bit of a mess as it starts. I like to let them just drip for a little bit until a lot of that runs off, and then I'll spin it the rest of the way off. And there you have it. Screwed right off. Let it sit face down, let it drain out, because it'll hold a lot of oil in there. If you set it on the ground and it tips over, it's gonna make quite a mess. So now we'll come up here and get our filter, oil filter. Talk about a couple things here. One, look at your O-ring here. That's going to determine whether it's going to leak or not, really, because that's what seals it against the oil filter housing on your engine. So if that has any nicks or tears in it, or any plastic, or anything on there, it's going to leak. So that's the first thing you want to look for. Also, make sure this O-ring comes off when you take the old one off. If that O-ring's still stuck on there from the first filter, you screw that one on, it might not leak right away, but eventually it's going to push that O-ring out. All your oil is going to come out on the ground, and you're going to ruin your engine. It's that simple. So always make sure when you take the first one off, make sure the O-ring is still on there, which it is. So when you put your new filter on, it's empty, no oil in there. You don't want to fire this thing up dry and have your engine running with no oil going through it for the first couple seconds. So with this, it goes straight on the bottom of the engine vertically. Go ahead and put you some oil in there, so it's already primed a little bit. Cut down on the wear and tear of the initial startup. Also, as you have some oil right there on top, take your finger, get a little bit on there, and lube your O-ring. That way when you tighten it, it's gonna slide easy, seal up just a little bit. You don't gotta go crazy with this. Come in here with your filter. Some cars use a canister filter, and sometimes they're on the side of the block, and you fill those up with oil, you're just going to make another big mess, because when you try to put it on this way, sideways, it's all leaking out. But this is nice. When you tighten it, that's it. You go to tighten this, you don't use the wrench to tighten it. You just tighten it by hand. That's it. That's all it takes. Remember, when that heats up, it's going to tighten up on there. You're not going to have any leaks. That's it. Just nice and tight, hand tight. You put a wrench on it, 3,000, 4,000 miles later, when you change the oil, you're going to have a real hard time getting that thing off. I promise you. Now you're ready to put your new oil in. You got your drain plug tight. You got your new filter on there, it's tight. Now, most engines, all engines, have a place to fill the oil. It's usually a plastic cap on the valve cover, somewhere right on top of the engine. It'll say engine oil. It'll also tell you what oil it recommends right there. Also, you can check the owner's manual, look online, and you can also find out real easy how much it uses. This vehicle calls for 5W20. That's 5 weight at 20 degrees. And it also calls for 5 quarts of oil. So that's what we're going to start. 5 quarts is what it's calling for, but you know, you really need to set it to where it needs to be. So we have the SAE 5W20, that's what it calls for. Now that you got your oil in, take your cap, wipe it off, get it nice and clean, put it on. If you let it run just for a second to get the oil pumped back up all through to the top of the engine and fill up the oil filter. And so pull your dipstick out, wipe off the oil level that was on it as you pulled it out. You're gonna slide it back in, pull it out, and see where we end up here on our oil level. We're right in the safe zone, right to the top side. So we're good, and you're now done with your oil change. And it's that simple. Gotta move on to the air filter. Just pop this box loose. You don't even need any tools. Sometimes they're this easy, sometimes they're not. But you just pop these little plastic clips off. Come in here, grab your filter. You can see the dirt in there. Your engine is a big air pump, okay? So the more air it gets in, the more fuel it can burn. The more fuel you burn, the more power you have. This thing is due for a change. Also bring it over here probably and see all the dust flying out of it. It's no good. There we go. Got a new one here. We'll see how clean it is. Oh yes, look at that. We're just gonna pop it back in there. Slide your new filter in. It's just gonna sit in here just right. In here. Get your clips locked in. Get your little breather back up there. And that's it. You have now done some maintenance. It's well needed. And the last thing, you got this gum out high mileage fuel injection cleaner. Like I said, this thing probably has, I don't know, 216,000 miles. I could look, but it's high mileage. So we're gonna throw a little of this in the tank. It has a nice long neck. You just right in the old gas hole, and restores your fuel economy, reduces emissions. What I really wanted to do is right here, clean the fuel injectors. Get rid of any stumbling, rough idling. This will help a lot with that. And just goes right along with the air filter. Take it back here to your gas tank. Take your cap off. Take your bottle. That's it. It drinks it. Once it's done drinking, you're done. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll be making more. And hit the subscribe, hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. Leave a comment. Tell me if I did something wrong. I'm okay with that. I mess up all the time. But I've done this quite a lot, so I feel confident in it. But let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see. Maybe you got a question, you want to see something done on a car. Let me know. We'll do it.